Hi guys, welcome back to another law short, and in this one I will be covering how to read case law, or more specifically how to research legal cases. So the first thing you'd want to know about a certain case, so for example, I'm going to use the Salomon case, which is the separate legal entity rule. It is a case from the 1800s. It basically suggests that when you create a company, it's a separate legal entity. That's just going to be my example case for this little video. So firstly, you'd want to know the background information of the case. So if there's any wider context, if it builds upon an old rule, or pretty much just any context you can find about the case. That's the first bit that you'd want to know. And this video is basically just going to outline everything you'd need to know about different cases, and this is pretty much the most depth you'd need to go into. You wouldn't really need any more depth unless you're working on a specific dissertation, for example. So once you have the background information about the case, I would recommend you actually find the key legal issue within the case. So as I mentioned previously, it is the separate legal entity principle for the Salomon case. So that's Salomon and Salomon. I'll put the case citation here so you can go find it. So once you have the background information, I'd recommend you firstly find the actual legal issue that you're building upon. So certain cases would build upon the Salomon case. It's quite a significant one from the 1800s. And then after this, I would highly recommend that you search the outline, or rather the outcome of the case. So what actually happens, what the decision was. You can also mention the judges' names as well if you're writing an essay and you're going quite critically into the case, potential factors that influence their decision if you're going for a more first-class mark. I assume if you're watching this video you're going for a first-class mark, but if not, I guess just ignore that bit. And you'd also want the date. The date is very important. I know this case was from the 1800s, but it still holds quite a lot of significance to this day, and it's still cited quite frequently. So once you've actually outlined the key legal issue, so in this example, it will be the separate legal principle for businesses. Once they're incorporated, I'd recommend you look at something called obiter dicta, which is basically judges' commentary or judges' opinions on the case that you're looking at. With such a significant case such as Salomon and Salomon, there's bound to be, there's likely to be a lot of commentary on it, which there is. So we were looking at this for our essays. If you're doing a problem question, it isn't as relevant per se, but I would say if you're going into deep essays, then it's very relevant to look at other judges' opinions and also remember the timeline. So for example, this is a case from the 1800s. If there's more recent cases, make sure you get the timeline correct. That's a very important thing to remember, because each rule tends to build on the previous one, and it's very important for you to outline this timeline if you're writing about it in one of your essays. And the final tip I would give is relate this case to other cases. As I've mentioned previously, the Salomon case is quite a foundational case within company law, so people still cite it in court to this day. It's a strong case, and it's running and it's been running since the 1800s, so it's quite significant, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. There are cases that have built upon this separate legal entity principle in order to clarify interpretations. For example, I'll put a few cases here just that build upon this decision. But yeah, that's all I'll be covering in this law short. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.